Hi everybody, happy Friday. Let's talk about certifications and my views on them as a professor and hiring leader. I'm always a bit leery when I see a resume roll in and there's no experience but a giant list of certifications. If you're a hiring manager out there, do you feel the same way? You might be asking, why does it make me leery? Well, I start to think that the individual in question is maybe a paper tiger depending on the certifications that are listed. And I know that hurts, right? Paper tiger. So what do I see as value in certifications? Well, they can set a minimum bar for a base level of knowledge, right? Depending on how long the person's had the certification, maybe it shows us a certain level of lifelong learning with some of the continuing education requirements. Again, completely certification dependent. They can also indicate some ability to rehash useless facts. Let's face it. Different certification bodies have different stringencies in their testing protocols. If you get 53-sentence multiple choice questions, it's probably not that hard to memorize, especially if there's a really limited question bank and there's no actual practical content with you doing something. So why do I bring up question banks? Well, we all know that there are brain dumps out there for a lot of different certifications. Now, combine those 50 questions with some hands-on labs, and like I said, maybe a little bit more effective. How about certifications that have really large banks of questions that you're really not likely going to memorize? Take the CISSP, for instance, and I know I'm focusing a lot on cybersecurity, but that's one where I took a really quick Google for a brain dump out there, and I got a screenshot on the screen here. The database is 1,795 questions. In my mind, it's probably much more likely that you're not going to brain dump your way out of that one, right? It's a little more complicated than simply memorizing 50 questions or 75 questions. But I use the CISSP in particular because it's another problem I see with certifications and carrying a list of certifications on a resume without any practical experience. I've seen individuals with zero applicable experience that claim to have a CISSP. And I've seen folks that are midway through their education programs and they say, I just finished my CISSP. How can that be? You're supposed to have 5 years of cumulative paid experience that's validated across 2 or more of 8 domains in the CISSP. 1 check. You're also supposed to be endorsed by someone in good standing. Who's handling these endorsements for someone with zero real experience? A degree program doesn't satisfy all the experience. A 4-year degree can only satisfy 1 year of the experience. All that being said, right? I don't know what the answer is to the question. I don't know how people are doing it. I'm not sure that I care. But I'm smart enough to know when I see it, it's not legit. It's a paper tiger. All that being said, I'm happy to see things like TryHackMe, Hack the Box, certifications like ISC CC, which is free for students, free to sign up for, free training. CompTIA Security Plus, which I know a lot of universities train their students on. Network Plus, GIAC Security Essentials. I'm happy to see all those things because you don't have to game the system to earn them. You know, if you're straightforward and you tell me, hey, I have an associate CISSP, fantastic. But I have never seen that on a single resume over my 20-some odd year career here so far. You know, hopefully you have the opportunity in an interview to also demonstrate your future capability with the presentation of a fictitious scenario. It's something that we like to do quite frequently when we have a mix of candidates, and we want to see how they think. I have seen some fresh out of school students that have thought better than people or have performed better than people with many years of experience. I guess what I'm saying is, you know, I've seen people with CCMPs, CISSPs, CEH, whatever, that barely hold any proficiency in the topic at all and look at you kind of dumbfounded when you start using industry standard acronyms or when you ask them to describe a basic process or how something works. I would say if you're getting the cert, make sure you can back it up or pick up certifications that align with your level of experience, because some of us see right through it. Let's talk about earnings, because I made the claim that maybe this is a giant money-making scheme. I don't have exact figures, but we know from the year end of Cisco's fiscal 2024 report that they had about $14.5 billion with a B in services revenue, and I think that's where the certification and training revenue lands, along with a ton of other things, right? I'm not claiming that training and certification is $14.5 billion. There's definitely some money in the game for offering certifications to these organizations also. Take a look at EC Council. And again, I'm just picking out cybersecurity examples. But I've seen revenue figures out there with a quick Google that company has anywhere between $211 million to $387 million in revenue a year. So I'm not saying it's a money-making scheme, but there is money to be made in certifications. And I just think that different certifications have different value at different times in your career. So I'm not trashing certifications at all. I encourage my students to earn certain certifications that align with where they're at in their career. If you're looking for other ways to differentiate yourself, you can check out my video on making yourself attractive to employers. And we'll see you next week. Have a good one.